Chapter 20. Tom Tucker. Jack was bumping down the road wearing his hillbilly disguise, which basically was overalls, and a weird hat. He was riding an old wagon, with a barrel of nut oil, pulled by two mules. On his way to the little town, up the Appalachians, called the Butt Crack Creek, he was on a mission, with no plan. How the hell should he be able to outnut those pissed-off horse hillbillies? He wasn't sure that those guys just thought it was a great idea to dip their 30-inch horse wieners in 2,567-degree hot nut oil and put it in the freezer overnight. There could be a slight chance of a protest here and there, so Jack was preparing himself. But he still had the note with further instructions that he got from Bob. And when Jack was well out of town, he reached for his pocket and found the envelope. He opened it and read, "Joke's on you, old man. Happy retirement." That was good pounder humor. Of course there were no horse people, and in the hindsight he could now see that it sounded a little stupid, with horse people and little penis hats, and the Pope talking to God and all the other crazy stories. They really got him there. But the note still had some instructions, and it said, "Hi Jack. The horse people story was just a diversion, because this plan is so secret that we're lucky that anybody knows it at all. The government wants you to go to the Big Dade Valley smack dab in the vicious swamps over in Virginia. Our intelligence had told us that something is going on over there. And we want you to make sure that God is doing his job by keeping that little goat devil in his hole with all the nasty vagina gases. And in the barrel, there's not good rod nut oil, it's date juice. God had become a juice junkie, and until we get him in rehab, you got to keep him going with this. He drinks so much that the helpers in the valley can't keep up anymore. And he's running out of date juice. And he is so goddamn stupid that he will start ripping up the arms and legs of the helpers thinking they'll be faster. Make sure he'll concentrate on date angeling instead of nothing else. And if there's any problems, kick him in the nuts. And if the nasty swamp with all its monster animals give you any problems, kick him in the nuts." Well, that was a whole new situation for Jack. The Big Dade Valley, in the middle of the vicious swamps of Virginia. It was really exciting. Everybody thought it was a myth, like Atlantis and Spider-Man. This was big. But those swamps with nasty vagina fish and other weird stuff could be a real challenge. But Jack wasn't afraid of anything. He was the best nut kicker this nation ever had raised. And vagina monsters couldn't scare him. So Jack turned the mules around and was heading north towards the great state of Virginia, in the valley of the biggest Dades in the world. He had a pretty long ride ahead of him, so he saw a lonely figure at the side of the road, hitching a ride. He thought it would be nice with a little company. The guy introduced himself as ex-news reporter Tom Tucker. He had just been fired for admitting that it was impossible to make interesting news without bending the truth, because that's what they all do. And those who don't get AIDS or something. Jack recognized him. Tom was the news reporter from the cartoon Family Guy, and he was the first almost real journalist who admitted he was an asshole. And for that, Jack respected him. The two guys quickly became friends, and they had so many funny stories to share. Jack found out that Tom was on a mission, and he was looking for the one and only story that was so good that he didn't have to make it better. But Tom didn't have a plan. Jack thought long about it, cause this was a very secret operation. But right ahead of them was the greatest story of the universe, the real story about the lost Big Dade Valley that all mankind just thought was a tale, like Santa and Ronald McDonald. And finally, Jack told Tom the story. Why not? It was his last assignment, so they couldn't really fire him. And maybe it was good to have a guy to document the story. Because if the government wasn't so secret about their operations, maybe they would not fuck up so much. And Tom just loved it. Of course, he wouldn't believe that the tale of the Big Date Valley was real at first. But after Jack had shown him the official Bud Inspector toilet paper it was written on, he was convinced. The greatest story ever. Jack and Tom was bumping down the road on a great big adventure. And they were talking about how exciting it would be to see the big vagina and all the creatures. And after a couple of days' ride, they finally could see the nasty vagina swamp in the distance. And smell it. It was real nasty. And at that moment, magic happened. Something got into Jack. Like that day, down at the docks of Charleston. And he got the happiest erection of all mankind. "Excuse me, Jack," Tom said. "Are you getting horny?" And Jack looked at his humongous boner and said, "I don't know. I think it's a sign. Let's follow the boner and see where it takes us." And the two happy adventurers followed Jack's mega happy erection right into the nasty vagina.